Know Why presents Food and Nutrition Tips during self-quarantine. As countries are taking stronger measures to contain the spread of COVID-19, self-quarantine and the temporary closing of businesses may affect normal food-related practices. Healthy individuals, as well as those showing acute respiratory disease symptoms, are being requested to stay at home. In some countries, restaurants and takeaway offers are being limited and some fresh items are becoming less available. Good nutrition is crucial for health, particularly in times when the immune system might need to fight back. Limited access to fresh foods may compromise opportunities to continue eating a healthy and varied diet. It can also potentially lead to an increased consumption of highly processed foods, which tend to be high in fats, sugars and salt. Nonetheless, even with few and limited ingredients, one can continue eating a diet that supports good health. For optimal health, it is also important to remain physically active. To support healthy individuals in staying physically active while at home, WHO Europe has developed specific guidance for periods of quarantine, including tips and examples of home-based exercises. Number 1. Make a plan, take only what you need. Multiple cases of over-purchasing have been observed throughout the WHO European region. Panic buying behavior may have negative consequences, such as an increase in food prices, overconsumption of food and an unequal distribution of products. It is therefore important to consider your own needs, as well as those of others. Assess what you already have at home and plan your intake. You might feel the need to purchase large amounts of foods, but make sure to consider and utilize what is already in your pantry, as well as foods with shorter shelf life. This way you can avoid food waste and allow others to access the food they need. Number 2. Be strategic about the use of ingredients, prioritize fresh products. Use fresh ingredients and those that have a shorter shelf life first. If fresh products, especially fruits, vegetables and reduced-fat dairy products continue to be available, prioritize these over non-perishables. Frozen fruits and vegetables can also conveniently be used over longer periods of time and often have a similar nutrient profile to fresh foods. To avoid food waste, you may consider freezing any leftovers for another meal. Number 3. Prepare home-cooked meals. During regular daily life, many individuals often do not have the time to prepare home-cooked meals. Spending longer periods of time at home may now offer the possibility to make those recipes you previously did not have time to make. Many healthy and delicious recipes can be found online. Take advantage of the wealth of freely available information, and experiment with the ingredients you can access, but remember to keep in mind the principles for healthy eating offered in this guidance. Some examples of healthy recipes with accessible ingredients may also be found below. Number 4. Take advantage of food delivery options. Although home-cooked meals should be prioritized, some cities and countries have rather advanced delivery systems for ingredients and ready meals, and many businesses are now starting to offer this service. Some solutions include contact-less options, where no human interaction is required, thus supporting self-quarantine and isolation measures. These should be prioritized, particularly from reliable businesses following strict food hygiene requirements. For food delivery and transportation, it is important to keep food at safe temperatures below 5 degrees Celsius or above 60 degrees Celsius. Keeping in mind that these services might be overwhelmed, you might want to consider exploring what is available in your area. Number 5. Be aware of portion sizes. It can be difficult to get portion sizes right, especially when cooking from scratch. Being at home for extended periods, especially without company or with limited activities, can also lead to overeating. Seek guidance through your national food-based dietary guidelines on what constitutes healthy portions for adults, and be mindful that young children will need smaller portions. Number 6. Follow safe food handling practices. Food safety is a prerequisite for food security and a healthy diet. Only safe food is healthy food. When preparing food for yourself and others, it is important to follow good food hygiene practices to avoid food contamination and foodborne diseases. The key principles of good food hygiene include: keep your hands, kitchen and utensils clean. Separate raw and cooked food, especially raw meat and fresh produce. Cook your food thoroughly. Keep your food at safe temperatures, either below 5 degrees Celsius or above 60 degrees Celsius, and use safe water and raw material. By following these 5 key recommendations for safer food, you can prevent many common foodborne diseases. Number 7. Limit your salt intake. The availability of fresh foods may decrease, and it may therefore become necessary to rely more on canned, frozen or processed foods. Many of these foods contain high levels of salt. WHO recommends consuming less than 5 grams of salt per day. In order to achieve this, prioritize foods with reduced or no added salt. You may also consider rinsing canned foods such as vegetables and beans, to remove some of the excess sodium. Be aware that pickled foods often contain high levels of sodium too. In many countries, 50 to 75% of the salt intake comes from the foods we eat, rather than what we add ourselves. Given that you might be consuming enough salt already, avoid adding extra salt when cooking and to your meals at the table. Experiment with fresh or dried herbs and spices for added flavor instead. Number 8. Limit your sugar intake. WHO recommends that ideally less than 5% of total energy intake for adults should come from free sugars, about 6 teaspoons. If you crave something sweet, fresh fruit should always be the priority. Frozen fruits, canned fruits in juice rather than syrup, and dried fruits with no added sugar are also good options. When other dessert options are chosen, ensure that they are low in sugar and consume small portions. Watch out for low-fat options, as these are often high in added sugars. Limit the amount of sugar or honey added to foods and avoid sweetening your beverages. Number 9. Limit your fat intake. WHO recommends limiting total fat intake to less than 30% of total energy intake, of which no more than 10% should come from saturated fat. To achieve this, opt for cooking methods that require less or no fat, such as steaming, grilling or sautéing instead of frying foods. If needed, use small amounts of unsaturated oils like rapeseed, olive or sunflower oil to cook foods. Prefer foods that contain healthy sources of unsaturated fats, such as fish and nuts. Reduce foods such as red and fatty meats, butter and full-fat dairy products, palm oil, coconut oil, solid shortening and lard. Avoid trans fats as much as possible. Read nutrition labels to ensure that hydrogenated oils are not listed in the ingredients. If food labels are not available, avoid foods which commonly contain trans fats such as processed and fried foods, like donuts and baked goods, including biscuits, pie crusts, frozen pizzas, cookies, crackers and margarine. If in doubt, minimally processed foods and ingredients are better choices. Number 10. Consume enough fiber. Fiber contributes to a healthy digestive system and offers a prolonged feeling of fullness, which helps prevent overeating. To ensure an adequate fiber intake, aim to include vegetables, fruit, pulses and whole grain foods in all meals. Whole grains foods include oats, brown pasta and rice, quinoa and whole wheat bread and wraps, rather than refined grain foods such as white pasta and rice, and white bread. Number 11. Enjoy family meals. The social distancing associated with the COVID-19 outbreak has meant that many families are spending more time at home, which provides new opportunities to share meals together. Family meals are an important opportunity for parents to be role models for healthy eating, and for strengthening family relationships. Increased time at home during this period may also present new opportunities to involve children in cooking healthy foods, which can help them acquire important life skills that they can carry into adulthood. Letting children choose what vegetables to include in your meal may encourage them to eat them at the table. When involving children in cooking, it is important to keep meals simple and to teach children about proper food safety, including hand washing, cleaning surfaces and avoiding consumption of certain raw ingredients. We all need to work together and stay at home. We need to do our part for our communities and families. So, how are you dealing with social distancing, and what do you find the most challenging about it? Share your thoughts and comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and share with your friends and families, so we can keep making them. For more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, and remember to click on the notification bell. Also, be sure to check out our other videos as well. Thanks for watching.